Okay, good evening everyone. Hope you've had a great week so far. Alrighty, let's switch over. There we go. Cool. Yep. So new features from GitHub tonight. We're gonna have a look at the GitHub Models. So it's a new element as part of their kind of marketplace. It's currently beta. I have a preview access, so thought we'd have a quick look, see what they're doing with this. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it looks really cool. The goal, from what I can see of this, is to help developers to be able to develop with language models in a way where it's not going to require you to spin up your own system to actually host the model. So you're going to be able to actually test with some of the larger models that you may not have the ability to deal with either locally or within your cloud environment. And also switch between models quickly to say, oh, I want to test it with Mistral, but then I want to also test with Meta. Maybe I want to test with OpenAI, GPT. And then at the end, once you're happy with something, then it should be pretty easy to switch over to a live service. So if you're, say, using Azure and using Azure OpenAI to connect with GPT 4.0, you'll just be able to switch in effectively the connection string and off you go. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to give this a shot and see how far we can get. I haven't connected into a code space and tried it yet, so this will be 100% me learning it with you tonight. So let's just get into it and see where we go. So the first thing I did, so I have done a bit of reading, I haven't loaded it, but a few things that we should look at first. You can join the waitlist if you would like to get access. So from this way, I posted it on LinkedIn, but I'll post it onto the YouTube a bit later. And then once you're in there, we can go to Playground, to the GitHub Marketplace, select the models. And we should actually be able to go to a playground with these models as well. So some parameters, and then there's rate limits. So now I'm not sure if I'll have the free API usage. Don't know if I joined the waitlist for that. Let's just quickly. Well, I'm on the waitlist now. If I wasn't before. Cool. So should definitely have access to the model playground, whether or not I have access to the free API. We will find out. If I don't, that's okay. We can still have a look at some things. So that should be cool. But what I wanted to point out was the rate limits. Because they are offering service for free. So they're obviously going to have to put some guardrails on it to make sure it doesn't blow up. So you've got request limits per minute, per day, and then different tiers. So for the low tiers, so these are kind of smaller models, models that are kind of not doing that kind of thing. So they are kind of 15 per minute for kind of based off your Copilot license. So if you're free or you use Copilot individual, 15 per minute, Copilot Business 15 per minute, and Copilot Enterprise 20 per minute. So someone's just telling me I have some audio quality issues. Let me just see if I can double check what my inputs are. Input should be okay. I don't know why my audio quality might be a bit funny. could be a bandwidth. Am I dropping frames? Let's have a look. No, my bandwidth seems okay. Not sure why I might be dropping frames. No, I don't think I'm dropping frames. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. No, 0 drop frames should be good. So I don't know if audio is being just a bit funny tonight. Hopefully it's not too bad. If it does get pretty bad, let me know, and we'll play with some settings. Just to have, just gonna bounce out of that. It's not an audio processing thing. Maybe that might improve it. We'll see. Where were we? All right. So we're talking about the rate limits of the system. So maybe move my mic a bit closer. So rate limits. So you got requests per minute, and then total requests per day. Then also tokens. So 8,000 in seems to be the default for all of these, and then 4,000 out. For the high tier, so this is going to be your higher level LLM, so your higher parameter count, so your 70 million or 70 billion and like above. So it's going to have less requests per minute. It's also going to have capped requests per day. The tokens seem to be the same except for the Copilot Enterprise, which has a large input token. And then embedding is again different, so which is good. But again, the goal of this is not so that you can like completely flesh out your system. It's allowing you to do your initial development. So it'll be interesting to see if these limits do change. I'll certainly be keeping an eye on my usage of them as we develop something and see how that goes. Cool. So that's where we're at. So let's maybe have a look. Let's try one of the small models. Let's just do a Phi 3 model. So we should have access to Playground. So this is the interface for Playground. Cool. So obviously there's a base thing, so we can say here, so see if it'll answer us on what it's trained date. Okay, so it's telling us September 2021, so pretty old, 3 years out of date. Oh, that's good. We can change the model on the fly here, which is kind of cool. So ask it to make a grilled cheese sandwich. See what it comes up with. Okay, that looks like pretty standard, but it's coherent is really what we're looking for when we're talking to an LLM and asking these kind of general questions. Is we want a coherent response, and this one's nice because it's even also given us a formatted response, which is cool. And then we can ask it something like, okay, how would we do something in Python? And it's given us store requests, This looks all pretty standard. Cool. So, models functioning. That looks pretty good. We can also see a code example. So we've got a JavaScript example, and we have a Python example here. So you can see the two different ways of doing that. So cool. And it's telling us we connect with this client here. Interesting that that's a Azure endpoint, but that makes sense. It's GitHub, it's owned by Microsoft. That's going to make sense there. And we're using a GitHub token, privilege access token here to gain access. Cool. So I then wonder if we could do this in our own. Oh, that's interesting. The training date actually says for this one is October 2023, but then when we asked it in the chat, it said September. Interesting. Cool. All right. That's cool. So what I want to do then is see, and I don't know if I got access to the API, but I do. No, I do have the code. Okay, sorry, just reading. Also, it looks like the playground and the API use both the same rate limiting. Okay, so that's all right. I just realized I'm very dark here, aren't I? I haven't turned one of my lights on. Now you can see me. Now you can see my face. Okay, so I want to get this code. Okay, get started. Oh, here we go. All right, so first things first, we've got to create a personal access token. So let's go ahead and do that. I will reset this token later. Tell us what it needs to be. Does it need to just be a generate new token? Boop. I will authenticate with GitHub. That's my authentication number. Okay. Prove my auth. Okay. So sorry, I was reading a quick reply to a tweet. Alright, token name will be GitHub Models Token. Is a valid name. Okay. Token. And what we'll do is we will set this token for custom. I want to set this only for a couple of days. And we'll just do public. So we didn't need to do any permissions, so let's generate that token. Oh, we have copied that token. Okay. So that's fine. So let's hit a run code space. Create a new code space. So for those of you who have not used Codespaces is a development environment in the cloud backed by GitHub, so running on VMs essentially managed by GitHub. Cool, and we're running it on this one here. So shiny new code space for interacting with GitHub models. So they've given us everything to start, which is cool. So it's going through saying, hey, AI is going to make mistakes. This is going to subject, all this is subject to change. And AI safety so Azure AI content safety is in place, which is good. We want those to be in place, which is great. Draw install pilots, that's fine. Cool. Alrighty, so that's all there. And then they've got some samples. So let's give the Mistral one a try actually. Okay, so what we want to do is we'll bounce that. So we need to do a couple of things. So it's telling us about different models. This is the README here. Lost the documentation. What does it want? GitHub tokens. So we export. What is it? Now, remembering how we do the export. GitHub token. Just do echo. Can't type. No, that's not what I wanted. I don't think that's my GitHub token. Unless it is, but again, let's clear that out. And let's do npm. There was a token there, so I want to see if that actually is usable. And then we do nodes, samples. Ah, cool, thank you. Yeah, I always get confused because I've been doing a lot of PowerShell lately. But what I want to test is, does that already have the value in there that we can use, which would be cool. And it says multi-turn. Okay, well, that, so it's using Mistral Small, and that's the, okay, cool, so that looks like that worked. So looks like they pre-allocate a token to use. Thank you, Azure IoT Hub extension. I think it's because I'm logged in. Yeah, I'm logged in, so I'm syncing settings from my other stuff. Cool, so it looks like they've given something there. All right, extensions, calm down. All extensions are loading. So I'll just drop that music down a little bit. Cool. All right, so we have that. So if we tried this then with the basic, So it's answering that question. So music is also a bit loud for me. Cool. All right. Settle down. Doing all the extension installations and apparently doesn't like something in Node. But that's all right. Cool. So this is all in this one. So I wonder if I wanted to run this in my own code space under my own requirements, because obviously this works inside their dev container, universal dev container. Okay, it looks like there's an env file, which I'm assuming is where that token's going to be. I'm not going to go into that at the moment. Okay, so let's try it. Let's do the export GitHub token, and then let's allow that. So to echo that. That's done now. Now if we try this again, yep. Okay, that still looks like that works. So our token is accessing the endpoint, which is good. So we know that token works. So what we should be able to do then is open up a code space within our own repo and try this. So let's try that out. So let's make a new repository. And we'll put the owner to be me. Let's call it models testing. Make it public. That's all good. Okay. So that should be fine. And now I want to... Do I have code spaces enabled on this? Let's check. See if I actually have code spaces myself. I thought I should have it enabled. Yeah, code spaces. I don't want to set up a pre-build. Create code space. Clearly I'm was blind on that one, so that's right. Let's go create another code space. And we'll get that one set up. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to nab we're going to nab the dev container image that they're using because that's useful. So file, not file, new folder. And then we will rebuild all the things. Rebuild into this. It might fail because we don't have any npm, but we're installing the universal dev container. Reload our code space. Yeah, no, I think this will be really good if this is something that we'll also test this from local as well and see if we can call out these endpoints from local after we do code spaces. But having the ability to build against something, even if it's running the smaller models, I think will be super useful. Apparently our code space is called Studious Yodel. are we going? Code space. Nope, it did not like something. That's okay. Mostly doesn't like this, and we will also, yeah, that's fine. Mostly didn't like a couple of things there. Let's just try and rebuild this, because I don't have those files. Rebuilding that code space. Can we get logs? It's downloading. Yep. So I also recommend, if you have the chance, to have a play with code spaces. I believe there is a certain amount of hours everyone gets free. As an individual, you can get up to 60 hours free on code spaces. I'm believing that's per month. So, and that's kind of based on 2 cores. So it's 60 hours. If you have a 4-core machine, you get 30 hours. I've found code spaces to be one of those ones where it's useful when you maybe don't have a good machine. Like, let's say you're working in an environment where you've got a pretty substandard laptop and you really need a little more power, and you're working on just web stuff, or it's like you're building TypeScript or something like that, or you're doing kind of web APIs. That's where I see it being really useful. Now with the AI stuff too, I can see that being quite useful. But it's one of those things where it's certainly something that it's a bit harder to compare to a full dev environment. So you've got a full developer laptop, or using a service like Microsoft DevOps or something like that, where you've got a full VDI solution that you can log into and is as powerful as you need. I think that code spaces are really good for open source. Yeah, MacBook Pros are usually pretty solid. That being said, I actually just moved away from MacBook Pro. I was on one for a couple of years, and then now I'm back onto a Windows machine for my daily drive. I'm on a Windows machine for my home machine, which I'm streaming off now. But I'm also on a Windows machine now. Mainly because with the Mac, I felt like I wasn't able to look at all the different IDEs that I wanted to look at, because I want to do stuff with Visual Studio, Rider, and VS Code all at once and compare them, and I can't really do that on a MacBook. But they're still very powerful and really good development machines. So, yeah, and with GitLab, that's hard, yeah, because you can't. There's no real integration there. Microsoft DevOps might work with Git. Yeah, Microsoft DevOps would work with GitLab as long as it was networked in, but that's a whole different thing. All right, cool. Yeah, well, with Python, I'm not really a big fan of the JetBrains IDEs. I've tried them for multiple things. I've done Python, I've done C, I've done .NET, and I feel like I'm fighting the IDE all the time, trying to get it to do what I want it to do. Cool. All right, our DevBox is good, so let's. All right. Cool. So we've got Node.js here. So let's get that solution. Let's do. Let's just do this Mistral basic one here. So we'll just essentially we're just gonna steal it because I want to test it works in my code space. So we'll call it basic JS. And we'll comp that down, and then we'll do an npm install, what was it, Mistral. I think that was that the install I needed to do? And I'll copy it from the actual, and we'll allow pasting. Thank you. Okay, and then we should be able to, what was the command? It's just node. Now, what are we doing here? Am I missing? I think I'm missing other stuff too. Sure, I oversimplified what I was doing there. Let's just grab the dependencies, copy them. Shall we install all those dependencies? Cannot use that, so I've messed up something. What have I messed up? This is where my node knowledge starts to fail me. Yeah, it wants me to be in a module somehow, but oh, no, file. Let's put this in. Call that JS, and we'll put this JS there. Nope, still doesn't like something. Load an ES module type module in the. What am I missing? Because I am. Okay, maybe I'm missing. Yeah, okay. I'm missing this stuff here. You can tell my node knowledge is not where I'd like it to be yet, but that is something I am working on. Trying to get better understanding. There we go. Interesting. So I haven't given it a token yet. Let's change the prompt. Change the prompt and we'll see. Yep, so it's still calling the endpoint. So interesting. Maybe I think Code Spaces is generating a token as the GitHub token on creation. That's what's happening here. So that's because my understanding is the token just wants to be an authentication to the service. Okay, yep. So we don't need to be doing that, but if we wanted to run it locally, so let's run it locally. Let's do this exact thing we have here. Let's run this as a local. So where's my VS Code? Here's my VS Code. Container, and this is why I love dev containers. So I can just grab grab this, and this will then pull down that. This code space, this stuff doesn't matter because we're not in a code space. And then we will grab the package.json, grab that down as well. So we'll do a new file, put that there. Then we should just be able to do basic.js. Go grab that as well. Pull that down. Okay. And then I will do rebuild and reopen in a dev container. Just show logs, make sure it's doing the thing it needs to be doing. Okay. So that looks like it's all good. I don't know why we're getting started with Jupyter Notebooks, but sure. Another thing I should look at one point, I haven't done much with Jupyter Notebooks. I've touched the C# version to making like a run book, which is cool for doing demos and stuff like that sometimes to show things, but not something I've had a ton of use for. Alright, cool. We are in, it's calling it a code space. I think that's just because of a naming somewhere, but we should be running this locally. I can just confirm that we are running this locally. Yeah, dev containers I really like, especially from the ability to share a config and say, here is how I've set up the environment. Let's share it amongst all the devs. No one's sitting there going, oh, what version are you using? Or what's your install? What extensions have you installed? We'll all kind of install the same extensions, things like that. Unless you're talking about the Jupyter Notebooks, but yeah, the lag time on Twitch chat. That's all good. Alrighty, so we should be able to do now an npm install. Both. Okay, cool. As long as what I was saying was relevant, it wasn't just talking to the wrong idea. Cool. So go and grab me all of that. Error. Ooh. Operation not permitted. Okay. Then if all else fails, well, first it fails, run it in sudo. There we go. Oh, see, I have seen this with local dev containers. Sometimes the permissions can get a bit funky, but usually, yeah, run it in sudo. Cool. All right, so that should be there. So we should be able to then do node. Now I'm expecting this to fail. Yep, I've got a node with bad credentials. So now if we do export GitHub underscore token equals, and I will quickly go and grab the token. I think my token is no, I've rebuilt you, so I have to go get my token, or I might have to generate another one. Let's go GitHub. Let's go generate another token. I think I'll just regenerate that token if we can. me. Where are my tokens? In developer settings, I think. Personal access tokens, fine-grained tokens. Generate me the token. That's fine. We'll just do a 7-day token. Grab that token, and then we will come down here, and then we'll clear, and then we'll just echo. Make sure it got in. It did. And now we do node. There we go. Nice and easy, actually. That was pretty painless, all things considered. Cool. I'm really happy with how straightforward that was. So we have code spaces running. So both in. So this was on their demo repo, and we're able to access it. We can run it in our own code space and access it without needing to generate a token. And then if we want to run it locally, we can by generating a token, putting it into environmental variable. And that token is then used to authenticate us and give access to the AI. Cool. That's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's now, what I want to do is try to see, can I access this from a .NET application? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and modify the dev container. So what we'll do is we'll go over here and we will do dev containers. Let's go to GitHub. Okay. Is this one? I think this is the one I want. Oh, it's very bright. I think that's just the dev container schema. I want the images. Well, thank you for the follow. Yeah, well, have a good sleep. And I hope to catch you again on another stream. I think it's Phil or Fire NZ. I'm terrible with names. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Okay. So where are we? Dev container images. Don't actually think that's the one I want. Is this the one I want, or is this? Tips, readmes. Okay. All right, cool. Yes, this is on. So we want to go and grab the latest .NET image. So let's go and grab that. Okay. And we're just gonna clear this stuff out. And then we're going to rebuild. Then I'll have to put all of the extensions on for doing .NET, but that's right, we can do that manually in a moment. And I'm going to shut down that. Just want to go and see if make sure I can so Copilot, can't remember if there's a way to see what code spaces I have running. Let's go see. I also really should set up my dot files. I haven't done that. That's another thing that's really cool with running code spaces, is having the ability to use your own dot files. Can I not see a list of active code spaces? Not here. Interesting. Yeah, I can't actually see a list of my code spaces. Yeah. I'll deal with that later. Okay, cool. We have our .NET installed and we are running version 8. Great. So let's do a .NET new API. Okay. And then we should be able to just do a .NET build. That should be all good. Let's go and grab some extensions. C# dev kit. And I'll go ahead and install all the things we should need. And then we will also get Copilot. Because everybody needs Copilot. Well, no one doesn't need Copilot, but people should use Copilot. I think it's definitely a tool which can be super helpful. Okay. And while we're here, we also do a .NET git ignore. There we go, just to make things a bit cleaner. Okay, so what we want to do here though is we want to use semantic kernel. I think will be the best way to do this. So I haven't used it in a while. And let's go have a quick look at what version we're at. Kernel. NuGet version. This is what we want. Go add our semantic kernel to our project. Cool. Let's take a drink. Close that down for the moment. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new folder, and we're going to call this services. File, and we're going to call this LLM service, and here we'll have a public interface. Okay. I should use a name. Sorry. Don't have. Well, Copilot's working, but I don't have IntelliSense. That's interesting. But we'll say namespace, and we'll just call this namespace. This actually, we should just call this test services. Just do a top level namespace like that, and what we should do here is test. Sorry, we'll leave that for tomorrow. It's always the problem with minimal APIs, I find, is that you want to do namespacing on some things, but then minimal APIs doesn't have a namespace to begin with, but it's fine. Okay, so for this interface, we want a string ask question and a string question. Okay, that will do for now. I'm just, do I not, did the .NET, did that not install? It said it installed. Apparently the IntelliCode didn't, but sometimes that fights with Copilot too, so we will see what it does. Okay. So we've got that. Now I need to remember how to use semantic kernel. Give us an example, please. Samples. It's been a while since I have used a pretty basic check completion. Sure, let's do a Mistral. Okay. Okay, so that's a test. Okay, the running unit tests here. Alright, let's have a look. How do we want this to go? it's saying to start with, let's grab these, add them into our connector is not there, so let's do a add package soldiers. Yeah. Nope, didn't exist. How connectors? Maybe I missed. Nope. Okay. Where's the base? I think that's the source code for semantic kernel, though. I don't think that helps us. Go to the documentation site. So there are connectors, but how do I make that work? Okay, so saying that should work then. Maybe I need the okay, cool, that was the issue. So I didn't specify the pre-release, I should have read. Issue, there we go, we have the connector. So if we do our private nope. So let's go back to not that one, this one. Let's go back to the example. Let's go back to the example. So it's a new service. Okay. And we'll have a type. We don't just called it a var, so fine. Check completion service. Now, it wants a couple of things. So it wants a model ID and an API key and then a URL. So what would the model ID be? Now, is it a string or is it? It is a string. So then we got API key, which will be that, and then we'll have that one will be the GitHub endpoint. So go back to right. There we go, that's our code space. We'll resume that code space. Excuse me. Alright, so we know this is our endpoint. So let's go and grab that endpoint. So that's our endpoint URL. It's complaining because it doesn't actually want a. So we go new URI, and that's the new. URI. Oops, sorry, bouncing around. Model. Now, is this the model ID? I'm not sure, but find out. So that's the model ID. Now it's still complaining. String. Oh, it wants a logger factory. Can I send you a null? So I don't have a logger factory. So, okay, and so we should be able to use token here. Now it's still complaining because it wants a logger factory, so use the do that, and then we can send logger here. Except for no, what's a logger factory? Why do you want a logger factory? Semantic kernel. Why do you want? That's for that. So this is just so it's saying that it only wants 2 here. Are we using the right? Visual AI chat completion service. So why can't it's for I need to suppress. Okay. It's throwing an error because it's a suppress. And why are we're throwing our could be null. That'll get rid of the could be null. So if we can't get token, just put a blank token in, it'll fail. Yeah, so it doesn't like this because it's a experimental feature. Okay, that's fine. We'll just suppress the warning so we can. Right, wait, so we'll go back. So now we can create a chat history. Let's just copy that. So I don't want to respond in French. There we go, we'll ask it that question. Do you like me a grilled cheese? So we will ask about grilled cheese. Actually, you won't. Can I actually comment that out? Because we will. Add the question in from, you know, the actual endpoint. Okay, and then how do we, response is this. And we are doing, because we're not async. Make this an async, and then this becomes a task of type string, and then this becomes a async, and then we come up here, async, and then we do task string. There we go. That solves that issue. Now we still have a problem. Which is that we still need to suppress the issue, which is it's evaluation only job. And then we will return so what we'll do is we'll create a new we don't want to just do that. We want to that, and then we want to for each response. What is content? Inner content. Is it inner content? It says it's unsafe. No, not you. So that's metadata. Is it items? Items is a collection. Oh, let's see what it gives us. Alrighty, that should be enough, I think. So, I'm gonna okay. Now we'll need to reset the GitHub token again. Actually, we don't. We still got it up. Look at that. Yep, that's good. That's in. Clear that out the way. Okay. And then we should be good to give this a shot. Let's call that's full name. All right, so that should add that in. And then we're going to I think this needs to be marked as from body. So we should get the string from the body of the request. And then we should be getting that. Okay, so theoretically, we haven't even tried to build this yet, so let's see how we did. Please specify this. Okay. There's only one. Okay. Can just build the project. Oh, well, we built. Okay. See if .NET Run actually works. All right. Open this in a browser. Connecting to the following port. Except for we will need to do a postman postman startup, or did it not? Hello, postman. We're going to start up. Well, we're going to think about it and be all far too big for the screen. Shrink postman down to screen size. Bring it over. Okay. We're going to do post. We're going to go to this endpoint and think it was question, and in the body, excuse me, in the body, why do we not just have raw JSON? And then we have question. Was it question? It was. Cheese for a grilled. Alright, let's see if that works. Boop. Unauthorized. Just getting all sorts of messages at the moment. Why did we get unauthorized? Did I need to put a port number? Maybe I need the port number? The port was at 5082. Thinking about it. No. Could not send request. Okay, that's unauthorized. Yeah. I wonder actually. It's saying it's being forwarded. Is it being forwarded from my local host? Don't think so, no. So. Let's try. Copy the address. Bad request. Failed to read parameter. I mean, it's an error. Yes, the actual error. So we hit the endpoint now. Failed to read the parameter string question on the quest body. JSON value could not be. But why? Why could the JSON? It is literally. Okay. See if Copilot's telling me this, which is effectively what we have. Okay. Could just be an issue with this serializing, so let's do this in a namespace. We'll say that can be null. Naming violation. That's fine. All right. And then we'll say models question. It's complaining, saying it's fine. It's fine. It's just a complaining. Should still just give us a warning, and it should still run. Okay. So now see if it can give me. So it reckons this is the appropriate payload. Let's find out. Did my endpoint change? It may have. So unauthorized, because we're back to visibility private. Public. Try again. Okay. Did I do something silly? I did. I did do something silly. We don't know what question we asked. It's a little redundant. Let's. Okay. Make that public. Copy. Put that there. Okay, we got a item collection. It's not what we wanted. Okay. So let's have a look here. It says it wants to do that, but that's not what we have here. So what we'll need to do is another loop. Still doesn't. Inner content, use this to bypass the current abstraction. Usage is probably considered unsafe. So how do I... So that's metadata. Oh, I don't want metadata. Okay, how am I actually... Because I'm getting the response, which is a read-only list. Chat message content. Okay. How it's just saying message.content. But there's well, let's try this. I don't feel that's going to get us any closer, but grab. So now we have, it's a Mistral chat choice. That's what the inner content is. The items was giving us a different kind of collection. That's a little bit of a pain. Let's see if so it's not quite what I want, but it is telling us about do we have to use, so we're getting get chat message contents. Which is correct. Let's see what that gives us. Now we're into debugging and troubleshooting mode. Public, grab you. Because we are now using up a lot of our tokens to understand. Here we go. So now if we change this, send this again. There we go. Cool. So we have managed to connect using semantic kernel to GitHub, GitHub model rollouts are being run. We've got it using our GitHub token. We're using a Mistral endpoint, so that's using Mistral Small. So what I should be able to do now. Where's the list of models? Where is the marketplace? Back to the marketplace. Go to models. And then we should be able to now hit Mistral large. So we go to the playground and we go to the code. And then the model should be this. So if we come back in here, we change our model ID to this one. So we terminate, .NET run to rebuild it, make you public, builds this. Go and get a much bigger because we're using Mistral large. Okay, that's pretty cool. So now obviously with semantic kernel you have to use a specific connector for the different model type, but that's fine. And this is a very, very basic way of using semantic. Semantic kernel does a lot more. But now, rather than having to run an LM on your local GPU, because I mean, if we look at the model we just called, which is Mistral large. So where's transparent? That's content filtering. How much? I want to get some of the information about Mistral large. That's support. Don't think we want support, but because I want to see how big this model actually is. How many billion parameters do you have? Let's just go on. Mistral large, which we're using 2407, which is this version. So this is the latest version, which is their absolute flagship model. Yeah, okay. Tell me how many billion parameters you have. Oh, that's Mistral large 2, but I don't. Unless that's. Okay. Doesn't. So I think this one we're using. Interesting, they only. C# not very good with these models. They're not training it a lot on .NET, which is sad. Bash does worse, but one day they'll get there. Chrome, go away. But anyway, it's a very large model. So what I was trying to say was this, being able to call this model even just a few times to test out these kind of things is really cool, because this is not a model that I could run myself. So I don't have one of those specialized GPUs. I've only got a gaming GPU, which is fine. I mean, I'm using a 1080 Ti on one server, and then I've got a 3080 Ti in this machine, my main machine. So I can run some decent sized models, but I can't run like Mr. Large, or I think there's some other ones they have available. Yeah, Metal, like Llama. Oh, I can maybe run 70, but I can't run 405 billion instruct. That one is massive. Can't run GPT 4.0. I mean, I could call GPT 4.0, but I'd have to pay for it. Whereas this is allowing me to do it for free. Sure, very limited, very rate controlled, which is fine. It's for development. I can run the Phi ones. Those ones are really good. Phi is really good for running locally anyway. And I do want to play a bit more with the Nemo and Small. But yeah, no, that's been pretty cool. That we can kind of just build a very basic service using semantic kernel. We're able to essentially expose the endpoint to then allow us to effectively ask a question directly to the AI. I mean, we're giving it a system prompt, and then we're asking it a question. And we're limiting max response to 500 tokens. There you see, in 500 tokens is still a lot. We're getting a formatted response, which is cool. And we could do that, so we're doing that in the code space, which means I could do this on any machine, anywhere, as long as it has an internet connection, like modern browser. You can connect to a code space and just do this, so you don't even have to have any of this stuff installed locally, which is cool. But then, of course, you can also still do this locally. I mean, we proved that here with this basic JSON here. We've got our Mistral client, and we were able to send out the same thing, but from our local machine. And use our GitHub credentials to register against it. So I think this is a really cool service. So it'll be interesting to see how this evolves as more and more models, maybe even some more fine-tuned models, things like that. Would be interesting to see how that goes. Cool. Yeah, don't have too much else I want to show tonight. Let's go and close this code space down, hey? Code space is stopped, that's fine. Don't want to restart the code space, but I do. Now, that's what I don't know. Is there a screen I can see which just... I want to see what code spaces I have running. Clearly need to check notifications. Profile. Got so many 60 repositories, but I would like to see I'm clearly there's clearly got to be an easy way to see what code spaces you have running. Yeah, okay, cool. Just go here. Okay, cool. Why that isn't a link? Why that isn't a link just off your main? It should just be. It should just be here under this list. I should just be like your code spaces. Maybe some feedback to give. Okay. So I will delete that one. We don't need that code space anymore. And then we still have this one by repository. Cool. So that's code spaces. Which again is super useful. You get 60 hours a month of just using this 2-core, which, as you can see from this, was more than enough to do what we needed here. Cool. Yeah, so also if you're interested, I am running a meetup in Melbourne, so if anyone's watching who is Melbourne based and would be interested in attending a GitHub meetup, we'll be running on the 22nd of August. So unfortunately one of our speakers has pulled out, so there will be an update to the speaker roster soon, hopefully. But we still have AJ presenting on kind of a good top level usage of GitHub and how you connect it in to environments using OICD, stuff that I've shown on stream before, but it's well worth seeing his approach to it, which is really good. And hopefully we'll have a second talk lined up. If not, I'm sure I can talk. Maybe I will show off this stuff at the meetup. So actually that's a good idea. I'm just thinking I should actually maybe put this into a bit of a talk where we have to do like one of the .NET meetups showing how to use the models with .NET and semantic kernel, and how we process all of that, which would be cool because yeah, I like the fact that we can freely test these models is going to make development against them so much easier. I've opened up more people to do development that previously would not have a chance to do that development, which is always good. It's always good to give people access who may not traditionally have access. So, yeah, I'm just being conscious of the times. It's 13:10. I don't really want to start anything too much now. Just because I don't think I'll get too much done in 13 minutes. Was there any other stuff? So we still, I know previously we've been talking about the Azure stuff we've been doing with how to roll out changes. I will be returning to that. Just tonight I got access to models, so I really wanted to show what that looked like. Yeah, not too much else. Also, if you aren't aware, I was awarded the an MVP status from Microsoft. So I've got a little trophy up in the background. I'll do some Twitter posts about that with the new trophy. So that's pretty cool. I'll be doing a lot more content around that kind of stuff going forward, which would be cool because that's in developer tools is my speciality in there, or my category for MVP. So I'm gonna have to spend a bit more time on Visual Studio, I think, because I have been pretty negligent on showing a lot of this stuff with full Visual Studio. I'm still very much an advocate for VS Code and using VS Code to do everything, because I think with the extensions you can, and I think VS Code's great because it's such a lightweight and easy to use thing. I mean, just even having dev containers on VS Code, just really, really good. Actually, I don't know if you can use dev containers. I don't know. Can you use to Visual Studio? You can. Maybe is it only VS Code? Yeah, I've been checked out of the full Visual Studio lifecycle, so I do need to get back in. I'll get a license pending for Visual Studio, so when that comes through, I will install Enterprise Visual Studio and have a look and see what these, like, what the key differences are and what, like, obviously for doing some kinds of development you want full weight Visual Studio, doing kind of native application development where you're actually building an application that runs with the UI, or doing like stuff like C++, use Visual Studio. I think that's the better idea for that stuff. But for most of your kind of web-based stuff, microservices, containerized, I think VS Code does everything you need it to do. Cool. Well, rather than me waffle on for 10 more minutes, without too much else to say, I think I might call it there a bit early. So I hope you have all enjoyed the stream and hopefully learned something about a new offering from GitHub. And yeah, so stay tuned for next week. Hopefully I'll be back to doing some rollout stuff with Azure. At some point I'll do some more, like another YouTube video. I just need to get some time under my belt to actually do that. It's mainly the editing. Like, I can record it, but then editing it down, all that's time consuming. Hopefully I'll find some time to do that soon. Yeah, so I hope everyone in Australia or kind of Oceania who it's Friday tomorrow, I hope you have a great Friday. Everyone in Europe, US, UK, enjoy your Thursday. And I will catch you all next time. Okay. Catch you all later. Bye.